Hi, today I'm going to talk about the truth about spoken English classes. How often do we see the ads that say, learn English in 30 days, guaranteed learning, learn spoken English easily, money back guarantee? And convinced or not, we helplessly join them. What happens usually next? You taught the same grammar again. If learning grammar alone really helped, then most of you would have been a speaker by now, right? That is not to say learning grammar doesn't help, but think about it. That's what we have been doing since school days, right? Then why join another place to learn the same stuff all over again? What happens during the 30 days of teaching? You listen too much, then take notes. You actually speak very less. How much of what you understand do you actually remember? Just think about it. Spoken English classes do have study materials, but how often have they really taught everything in that material in 30 days? Who has ever completed that entire material? These questions are usually not asked by the students even after the completion of the course, and they simply leave. Bad. When the classes are named Spoken English, how often do you actually speak? Do you really become a decent speaker in those 30 days? Truth is, something's not right about the way spoken English classes are being taught. That is not to say teachers do not teach efficiently in class. As a matter of fact, they give their best. It is not the teacher's fault, it has something to do with the way the institutes run. Consider this. 80% of language learning happens by listening. That's how we have learned our mother tongue, right? So, why not learn English that way? It doesn't work that way because we don't have English speakers around to speak with. And how can we learn a language by communicating in the very language that we're trying to learn? So that means for Indians, we need a different strategy to learn other than learn by listening. To understand this better, first let us try to know how good speakers in India have learnt it. They're usually good at their studies. They have memorized lots of answers. This allows them to write better in exams. Also, this is how they pick up the language structure fundamentally. This is their secret of having good communication skills. Contrastingly, native speakers learn by listening more, as we saw earlier, but we're trying to learn by remembering more essentially, practicing to write and eventually speaking. Does it work? It seems yes, but not for everyone. Even I learned English the remember, write, speak way. It helped me, but what happened to listening? What happened to translation? How good shall your writing skills be? I knew I was a good speaker, a good English teacher too. Addressing large audiences was easy for me, but one day everything changed. I happened to talk to a native English speaker. She had huge credit bills and was jobless. Things were hard for her and her father had recently passed away. She started crying as we talked and I wanted to comfort her, but I couldn't. Not that I did not know how to speak English, nor was I disturbed by her emotional plight, but suddenly something just made me go dumb. I had feelings for her, I wanted to comfort her with my words, but I couldn't communicate. That day I realized I actually did not know English as good as I thought. Actually, I realized I was not up to the mark at all. Then it also occurred to me, why do so many have been listening to me with respect and attention? Because they understood me. But when I wanted to comfort her, my language was incomplete. So communication was a problem. That was an eye-opening moment for me. I realized I could speak well, but communicating with a native speaker was still a problem. Few would say by now it must be an accent problem. No, it wasn't. Accent is just the way of sounding. In fact, it was a language problem. Do you notice the difference in the language when we speak and when native speakers speak English? I could not communicate effectively with her because of that difference. Yet, I could communicate with my audience well because they understood me so well. So I asked myself how to know this difference. I went back and listed all areas of language development. What areas of learning is a language made of? Reading, understanding, learning, vocabulary, speaking, listening, writing, so on. Then I came up with a self-analysis report. I noticed I was very good at grammar and syntax. My vocabulary was decent, reading speed was good, understanding was fine with me. But I also noticed most of my speaking actually happened when I taught, since I was a teacher, not when I hang out with my friends and family, as we mostly end up speaking in mother tongue with them. Also, I noticed much of listening happened only when I listened to English songs, watched an English movie, or perhaps when I watched English news or documentaries. And yes, writing was less too. We wrote answers. That's what we did in schools mostly. But still, I didn't get answer to my question. Why was I not able to communicate with her effectively that day? I found my answer. It is phrasal verbs, idioms, and expressions. Did you notice that my speaking, listening, and writing happened very less? Because my environment did not allow much of these activities. So, I would switch to my native language when I'm actually communicating with my friends and family. It is family and friends that we express our thoughts, opinions, and feelings freely. That's where most of communication in daily life happens. And much of this daily communication is made of phrasal verbs, idioms, and expressions than just tenses and regular questions. So that's why my communication was a bit of an issue with her, because I never practiced communication in English, I just spoke. So then, are these not taught in these schools? Yes and no, depending on which schooling background you come from. But my point is, irrespective of the schooling background, practicing phrasal verbs, idioms, and expressions happens less, since we choose to communicate in mother tongue with family and friends, and that's where most of these are actually used. So consider this, just the word call. It could take many phrasal verb forms like call in, call after, call around, call off, call up. Consider these sentences now. I'm calling in to find out more details. I have called my dog off. I was called up for duty reporting. I will call you around 7 p.m. I call them back. Now notice the way phrasal verbs are used in these sentences. Further, consider the phrasal verb forms for go. Go in, go on, go off, go into, go through, go over, go with. Now each of these words derive from their basic verb like call and go, yet they all differ in their own meanings. Say, consider the word look now. Look into, look over are two phrasal verbs from look, but all the three verbs have different meanings. Look into means you would check how things are working. Look over means you will check it once again. So, now look at how it affects our learning. I look into the file once I go back home. Can you look into the cooker for me, please? This example talk about checking on the file or the cooker on the stove. How would someone who is not familiar with phrasal verbs would say, I'll check the file again. I'll look at it when I get back home. I'll go and see the cooker. Now if you notice, look into is a keyword and we are not using in any of these sentences. Yet we are trying to convey the same idea by using our own sentences. This creates the difference between a native speakers and our way of speaking. Again, I'm not saying they are wrong way of using sentences, but my point is to highlight the lacking of phrasal verbs in our language. We compensate the lack of phrasal verbs with words we already know. And that's why we sound different from native speakers. Also check these idioms or expressions. I am broke, which means I don't have a job, I'm unemployed. I got to rush, which means I need to go now, I must go fast. Can I have a rain check? Today we cannot meet. When can we meet next? Shall we postpone? Now most of our communication is actually basic and routine in nature. But when we lack the idea of words like come up, figure out, see through, get along, make out, put it out, cut it out, get a move on, all that jazz, etc. we are essentially lacking the right set of words to communicate. Learning phrasal verbs, idioms, and expressions helped me bridge this gap between speaking and actually be able to communicate. All I wanted to say to that lady that day was, it's okay, I empathize with your loss. You're broke, but that doesn't mean you would not come through this. I am sure this too shall pass. All I wanted you to be now is, Jenny, you must be stronger than ever before. Get a move on and attack life. I'm sure you will figure ways out of this. But I could not because I did not know these words then. You're broke, come through, this too shall pass, get a move on, figure out. So that's one secret that my learning experience has taught me. What if English learners knew this too? How proficiently they would be able to communicate. But that's just the beginning. Now take a look at this. Areas that we already are familiarly strong are reading, understanding, learning, that is grammar and vocabulary. Now areas that we need to address since we are weak are speaking, writing and listening. But wait, we missed one more, remembering. Plus, in the beginning, it was told that most of language picking happens by listening, but with us, it is essentially remembering. Also, we missed translation. So to say, what you need exactly is a complete language learning system, CLS, that covers all the 9 areas of learning a language: reading, understanding, translation, learning, remembering, vocabulary, listening, speaking, and writing. That's the secret to learn any language. Complete Language Learning System, CLS. A complete comprehensive language learning system called CLS. That's my discovery, which has profoundly changed my life. It has helped me understand how I should learn the things that I missed. It has helped me understand the difference between speaking and communicating effectively. So what I did over the last few years, I decided to develop this system to enable almost anyone to become an effective communicator in English. I'm going to share how I'm going to do that now. But first, let us answer the questions we started with. Do spoken English classes really help? Yes, but not completely. Here's why. The CLS indicates that there are 3 styles of learning. Now some start from reading, few start from learning, and few start from listening, as you can see here. In the first style of learning a language, they start a language primarily by reading and slowly build their translation skills with their understanding skills. In the second style, if you start with good foundation in grammar and vocabulary, plus they have good memory to aid them. This is how most of the Indian speakers have managed to learn their language. And in case of native speakers, they learn much of their language by listening first, and eventually they build their way up to speaking and therefore writing. Now if you see, there are 3 styles of how you pick up a language: as a reader, as going by grammar, and a person who listens a lot. Note that it could be a mix of these 3 styles too. Essentially, you belong to any one of these. And again, if you look at the complete language learning system column wise, you can actually notice the levels of excellence. Anybody finishing reading, learning and listening areas considerably would attain decent levels of excellence. Somebody doing well with understanding, remembering and speaking would become a fluent speaker. And moving up ahead, someone doing really good with translation, vocabulary and writing is considered a proficient speaker. So when we combine the 3 styles of learning and the 3 levels of excellence, what we get is a complete language learning system matrix that looks like this. Spoken English does repeat grammar classes effectively. It helps only in learning area, and that is incomplete because you're not even covering translation there. It is complete and it's not complete enough to make you communicatively effective. When a student enrolls a Spoken English Institute, they blindly assume they're going to be communicatively effective. What they truly need is a comprehensive learning system, not spoken English, not personality development, not motivation classes, but a complete learning system that allows all of these too. That's what Kevin's spoken English is all about. To specifically address their need to become an active learner and an effective communicator. They just do not know how to ask, but their solution is CLS. They cannot ask because one cannot ask what they don't know. Introducing Kevin's Spoken English, a complete online English language learning system for free. Yes, you read that right, free. Before I explain why it is free, let me silence your doubts first. Why CLS works better than traditional spoken English classes? 1. We have complete learning matrix that's covered. 2. We have all the learning styles covered. And 3. We work on improving excellence from decency to proficiency levels. When we combine these 3 good reasons, we get something called parameters. So what are parameters? Parameters allow us to mathematically define our progress of learning. That means we are not just going to say learn English here in 30 to 45 days, but we are categorically stating that, hey, if you do the following list of activities, you should be able to communicate effectively. And we're going to mathematically track that. Like say, reading, understanding and translation represents one style of learning language. Each of these areas come with numbers. We would want somebody to have attained at least a reading speed of 300 to 400 words per minute. And for understanding, they should have answered our 50 comprehension passages which are designed in a unique manner. And for translation, they would be required to translate our entire library of sentences meant for translation. And once you're meeting these numbers, you have attained the proficiency in their respective areas. Now notice the numbers for each area, like 300 to 400 words, 50 comprehension passages, and X number of sentences for translations. We have numbers, we have parameters. When one completes the first style, what we mean is you have met the numbers, you have met the parameters, and thus you have achieved the reading style of learning now. So we say, parameters say whether you have achieved or not. Teachers do not. In short, you are your own monitor. Your work is a reflection of your own progress. As we progress into the course, you will accomplish all the 3 learning styles. Reading style, gradually moving into grammar style, further up, speaking style. And all of these are backed by parameters. So, we have all the 9 knowledge areas listed on the left, and we have the parameters listed on the right. For reading, you would be required to have 300 to 400 words per minute. For understanding, you would be required to complete 50 passages. Translation, you have to translate the entire CLS translation library. And for learning, we're going to learn grammar, but the Kevin's style. And for remembering, we're going to learn 2 unique memory techniques that are going to aid you in your journey of English learning language. And for vocabulary, we would require you to do 200 nouns, 200 adjectives, and 200 verbs. These are the most essentially used nouns, adjectives, and verbs that will immediately help you to get started to communicate effectively. Plus, we're going to add 300 phrasal verbs and 600 expressions or idioms. For listening, we got uniquely designed 30 transcript exercises. For speaking, again, we have situation-specific 75 designed talks. And for writing, we're going to have 60 writing exercises comprising 20 casual writing, 20 essays, and 20 compositions. So, why are we making a system as good as this for free? You have so many English gurus around saying, just grasp the grammar, you'll get it. Read newspapers daily. Learn 5 new meanings every day. Watch English movies or listen to English music. Well, they're all right. The advice works, but once again, it is not complete. But yes, it certainly helps. With CLS, we are doing the dirty work for you. We have figured out what the parameters are. All you need to do is watch the videos, do the assignment, update your progress, come next day, watch the next video, follow along and finish it through. The videos are made really simple. All you can be assured of is you will definitely understand what you have watched. Most spoken English classes do not make you read, but they give you a lot of materials. Vocabulary material is given, is not always used in daily practice. Teachers usually do not get to monitor the progress. No one actually cares you watch English movies or listen to English music. Having said that, Kevin's Spoken English follows parameters-based approach. The course is well laid out and comprehensively detailed. You monitor your own progress and know how you can master each knowledge area. Quality training videos help you to learn in an absolutely easy manner. Most importantly, it is the only course out there that covers all knowledge areas. So is CLS easy? Yes. It does not require hard work, but it requires dedicated and consistent effort. Remember, it takes time to build great things. Good news is you can learn it at your own pace. Make sure you meet the parameters in all the 9 knowledge areas. It takes discipline to do the assignments daily. You don't have to work hard, but you have to do lots of easy work until you complete. That is how it's designed. Kevin's complete language learning system is absolutely easy, fun, and effective. It is designed in mind keeping the learners who want to see real results in speaking English, for those who really want to become an effective communicator in English, and for those who want to change their life, for those to whom other English learning classes and methods have failed. So, make a decision right now. Commit to our CLS plan. Do the work every day consistently. Track your progress daily. Remember why you started your journey and keep going. Succeed in learning the language. Become the effective communicator who not just speak but communicate his feelings, opinions and emotions effectively. So, make the bold step and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Kevin's Spoken English. Do not miss any of my videos. If you found this video helpful, share it on your Facebook wall. Share this video with learners whom you think need a complete learning system. Our videos will be marked as day 1, day 2, day 3 and so on to help you find and catch up with the course easily. Any necessary files will be provided as a link in the description part of the video. Kevin's Spoken English, changing India, begins with you. The reason it is free is to do something like CLS. It doesn't need money or hard work. It takes well-planned and disciplined effort. We choose to make it free to help real learners benefit. We do not want any more dissatisfied spoken English class students. We sincerely would like to see learners benefiting from this course. If learning online is not your preferred way, you may choose to come to our physical spoken English classes at Dilshuk Nagar, Hyderabad. I am on Facebook as Vegitavaran. I am Trainer Venkat. This is my phone number and you can reach out to me physically at my place, Kevin's Spoken English, Dilshuk Nagar, Hyderabad. Also, you could contact us at venki1921@yahoo.com. That's my mobile number again. You could join our Facebook page, the Google Plus business page and also on my WordPress blog. The links are provided in the description of the YouTube video. Thank you so much for watching this video till the end. If you find the information shared here helpful, please share it. Plus, subscribe to our YouTube channel and I will invite you to have a direct chat with me on Skype or Google Plus Hangout. Not just that, since you have watched my video till the end, I'm going to offer my free video on life-changing secret. The link would be towards the end of the video. I'm sure this life-changing secret shall help you change your life indeed. If you have liked this video, I'm positive you would like the life-changing secret video as well, and that's a freebie to you as my way of expressing gratitude to you. Once again, Thank you so much for watching this video. Remember, changing India begins with you. Thanks. Very less. How much of what you understand do you actually remember? Just think about it. Spoken English classes do have study materials, but how often have they really taught everything in that material in 30 days? Who has ever completed that entire material? These questions are usually not asked by the students even after the completion of the course, and they simply leave. Bad. When the classes are named Spoken English, how often do you actually speak? Do you really become a decent speaker in those 30 days? Truth is, something's not right about the way spoken English classes are being taught. That is not to say teachers do not teach efficiently in class. As a matter of fact, they give their best. It is not the teacher's fault. It has something to do with the way the Hi. Today I'm going to talk about the truth about spoken English classes. How often do we see the ads that say, learn English in 30 days, guaranteed learning, learn spoken English easily, money back guarantee? And convinced or not, we helplessly join them. What happens usually next? You taught the same grammar again. If learning grammar alone really helped, then most of you would have been a speaker by now, right? That is not to say learning grammar doesn't help, but think about it. That's what we have been doing since school days, right? Then why join another place to learn the same stuff all over again? What happens during the 30 days of teaching? You listen too much, then take notes. You actually speak recently passed away. She started crying as we talked, and I wanted to comfort her. But I couldn't. Not that I did not know how to speak English, nor was I disturbed by her emotional plight, but suddenly something just made me go dumb. I had feelings for her. I wanted to comfort her with my words, but I couldn't communicate. That day I realized I actually did not know English as good as I thought. Actually, I realized I was not up to the mark at all. Then it also occurred to me, why do so many have been listening to me with respect and attention? Because they understood me. But when I wanted to comfort her, my language was incomplete. So communication was a problem. That was an eye-opening moment for me. Institutes run. Consider this. 80% of language learning happens by listening. That's how we have learned our mother tongue, right? So, why not learn English that way? It doesn't work that way because we don't have English speakers around to speak with. And how can we learn a language by communicating in the very language that we're trying to learn? So that means for Indians, we need a different strategy to learn other than learn by listening. To understand this better, first let us try to know how good speakers in India have learnt it. They're usually good at their studies. They have memorized lots of answers. This allows them to write better in exams. Also, this is how they pick up the language structure fundamentally. This is their secret of having good communication skills. Contrastingly, native speakers learn by listening more, as we saw earlier, but we're trying to learn by remembering more essentially, practicing to write and eventually speaking. Does it work? It seems yes, but not for everyone. Even I learned English the remember, write, speak way. It helped me, but what happened to listening? What happened to translation? How good shall your writing skills be? I knew I was a good speaker, a good English teacher too. Addressing large audiences was easy for me, but one day everything changed. I happened to talk to a native English speaker. She had huge credit bills and was jobless. Things were hard for her, and her father had